I'll call the meeting to order, and from the sitting position rather than stand up and so forth. I will let Mr. Bond, since he has two children that are Naval Academy graduates, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay.
I brought the flag.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And
to
to
the republic for which it stands,
One nation,
under God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Okay. Ed, you
What did
did
I just
something.
do?
What?
What did he do?
I didn't. You did.
What did I do?
Don't worry.
Somebody shared a screen.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on you.
We'll get to that.
All right.
Not right. There we go. I can cut it off though. So okay. On the meeting minutes too, before we approve it too, Carol has said to Brad, and it was forwarded to Nickerson and me, that she wants a clarification under item 6, basically regarding the Bridebrook Sewer Pump Station. She asked that further consideration and so forth. So for the sewer pump station, you know, it's a couple paragraphs. So if there's no objection, when we approve this, we'll be approving to attach her email with clarification to the minutes. So, and here again, it wasn't forwarded, so everybody has a chance to look at it. But it's just her effort to clarify, which is perfectly allowable and so forth. So is there a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of December 15th, 2020?
So moved. Steve.
Dave Bond, I'll second that.
Okay, seconded. Okay, any comments or corrections?
I have, it's just a
Dave?
typo, but if we're gonna go in and do anything with this, I noticed that on the head sheet that the date and everything was gonna be corrected. Under section 9, the second paragraph, Mr. Cargo said that we are not taking from them. That should read from them. It's about the water we're receiving from New London.
Okay. Okay. The mover and seconder, okay with that correction or
Yeah.
modification?
Yep,
Absolutely.
we're fine.
Okay, any other corrections or clarifications? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Carried unanimously. And Karen, I'll get you a copy of Carol's
I
clarification.
did
have
forward
it.
those
Brad
to
sent it to me.
Okay, she's got it.
Thank you.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Okay, sounds good. Moving on, delegations. I don't see anybody here that would like from the public to address us. If there is, you know, put your hand up. I think Mr. Crowley's a reporter, so I don't think he wants to, but okay. Moving on, approval of bills.
Yeah, I'll move approval of Bill 1A for tie-in bond for project for well 1A and 6 for tie-in bond for $18,887.72.
Okay, it's been moved by Steve. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second that.
Okay,
Carol
seconded-
Russell.
Seconded by Carol Russell. Any comments or questions?
I have a question.
Dave Jakes.
I just want to make sure I understand correctly, Brad. You made some, I believe it's Brad. You made some markups on it, and I did note in there a invoice from Volley Engineering for $750. Am I correct in your markups that you're back charging for those extra design efforts?
Back charging?
Charging the contractor?
Frawley's one of the subcontractors to Time Bond.
Correct. I see that they have a
And-
bill in for the $750 on your markups. I can't quite distinguish. You had,
They're part of the other direct charges. You're talking about the calculation, the 750 plus 263?
correct.
Yeah, well, that's in the contractor agreement that we have with Time Bond. The way that's calculated out, those categories, the other direct charges are, you know, included here.
I just looked at the description of engineering services, and I see that the additional work that covers is
There's a
redesign.
5% on top of that when you get to the fixed fee.
But, you know, we're paying for a redesign of gable tie downs for epoxy and adhesives per contractor's purchase and alternate submittal. So why should we be paying for design services on an alternate? Design services were paid for once.
If the contractor is requesting this to be changed and they're requesting approval, but the contractor should be covering the expense of the engineering of it that Ty and Bond had to put in. Shouldn't be our expense.
Unless it's a review of it. Is that what it is, Brad?
Well, I thought it was a review of it, but I'll defer to, I'll have to dig into it.
Okay, I only look at it when I saw the word redesign. On
Yeah,
the
I didn't
description.
actually see that.
Okay, if we'd like some clarification, is there a motion to table?
Well,
No, I think,
Hold on. Go ahead, go, Brad.
what I would like to do, because I guess there's such a critical timing thing with these invoices and getting them to the Department of, Health, and then getting the money ultimately back to the point where we can ultimately pay the contractor is a good 2 months. So I don't want to delay till the next meeting, but if you would agree that I would, or accept the fact that I'll look into this, and I'll try to get to the bottom of that, and before I send my submittal to DPH, I'll send everyone an email of some sort so you can kind of understand what the conclusion was. And I don't want to wait till the next meeting to process the invoice. So I'm going to try to get it clarified and get you guys an email as to what the solution was. All right? Would that work?
Is that agreeable? Yeah.
That's amenable, yes. I guess
Okay, those, the mover and seconder will make that, are okay with that change to the motion?
Yes.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Joe, if you're talking, you're muted.
Can't we just remove that line item from the invoice and table and pay the rest of it?
That is a solution as well.
I'll make a motion to remove that line item.
A motion on the floor.
Okay, wait a minute, we already have a motion on the table, Joe. You're asking to amend the motion.
I want to amend the motion to remove that line item.
That's fine. That's so amended.
That
Okay.
will work.
Okay,
The number is 17,874.37 if you take it out.
Say
okay,
that number again, Joe.
17,874.37 if you subtract out 1,013.35.
Thank you.
Okay, so what we'll do, we'll pull that out from the invoice, and we'll have them resubmit a new invoice, and then we'll hold that to the following month for consideration.
okay, the mover and seconder, okay with Mr. Mingo's amendment to the motion?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, now the first thing we do is all those in favor of the amended motion.
Aye.
Aye. Saying aye. Aye.
aye.
Any opposed?
no, I have to abstain.
Okay, Dave's going to abstain. Okay, so we have the amended motion has been approved. All those in favor of the new motion signify by saying aye.
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 And then I abstain again.
And David, Mr. Bond abstains again too, so. Okay, moving on.
Move approval of Bill 1B for RH White for well 1A and 6 for 172,999.76.
Okay, it's been moved by Steve. Is there a second?
second.
Seconded by Roger. Comments or Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Yeah, and I have to abstain.
And Dave's abstaining again. Well, we're on a roll here, so that's good.
Yeah.
So, okay. Okay, next. I think we're on to the finance director's report, correct? Yes.
Yes, good evening. Your reports did go out with the packages. Water, sewer, has been built up because November was the big collection month, as you know. Actually, on both the water and the sewer side, revenues and expenditures are running pretty much fiscal year to date as they were last fiscal year. Point out that in December, on the water side, we paid the state assessment fee for $11,200. On the sewer side, in addition to the typical utility and chemical expenditures, they did make the annual required contribution to the defined benefit pension plan and one of the quarterly payments on the liability insurance premium. On the sewer assessment side, at the end of the month, the cash was at 2.35 million. And again, year to year, we are on the sewer assessment side continuing to grow the cash balance. And I'll just point out that sewer operations did pay back the loan, the cash flow loan from October during the month of December. And then also reimburse sewer operations and the general fund for some expenditures made on behalf of the sewer assessment fund. And that's all I have to say.
Any questions for Anna? Okay, don't see any questions. Moving on, we have to set a public hearing or public hearing dates for sewer benefit assessment. Ben or Brad, do you want to talk to this briefly, or I don't know which?
Sure, I will start. And my question is Ed O'Connell, Attorney O'Connell on this?
Yes.
Yes, I'm
Okay, very
here.
good.
For some
Okay,
reason, I don't see myself on the screen.
Let me just kind of provide an overview, and then Ed, you can perhaps chime in as you see fit. Basically, what I wanted to do here was at least get on the table a roadmap for future assessments that are that we could levy now, or some that we would potentially levy later. But at any rate, this is what I see coming down the soon. And part of the question of how we go about assessing is the schedule of when we would do these. And some of it's dependent on Ed O'Connell's ability to put together the resolutions and the timing of project completion. So Ed and I did have a conversation a little earlier, and just briefly let me walk through. There are four categories, I guess, of assessments, or four projects. We have one, Gateway Phase 2. That is something that is just about complete. It's roughly it's $233,658 and change for the unit assessments associated with, Phase 2. As you recall, we assessed the land and all the units in Phase 1 some years ago, maybe 4 years ago now. So that's one of them that we could tackle sooner than later. The other one, if you have your packet and you're following along with the handout, we have Rocky Neck Village, which is under construction now. Rocky Neck Village is not yet complete, but I am showing you what potentially will be assessed. We have 57 units at $119,757. Again, this property was assessed some years ago when the sewers were installed there, and they had an assessment on the land of approximately $51,000. That's been paid and behind us now, but now that they've added or are adding the units, we will be subsequently assessing for those. Those units are based on that particular assessment formula is $2,100 per unit, and that is the substance of the calculation you see there. That probably is something we'll hold off perhaps a little later. And then we have the orchards. And the orchard subdivision is, if you're following again in your packet and thumbing through it, there are 2 pages to that, marked draft, and there's 30 homes, residential properties. That represents phase 4 of the orchard subdivision. And typically what we've been doing with the orchards is we've been timing the assessment in accordance with when we are prepared to accept the roads in that portion of the build-out, which we are now in the process of doing. We've just received their as-bills, and this includes Partridge Court and portions of Arbor Crossing, which is the northern section of the orchards. Now, this thing here with that is that the orchards, during the transaction, the sale of these properties, the builder has actually been working with the potential buyer to have these paid off at the time of the sale. So ironically, all but 8 of these are actually paid off at this point, but nevertheless, we still need to go through the formalization of the assessment process for this. So that would be one that we could do soon after Gateway, or probably first, and then Gateway second, perhaps followed by Rocky Neck, based on when the construction is completed there. And then finally, the 4th category of assessments is what we call the cats and dogs. These are the residential, the lot splits, the homes that have been added, sort of the infill that's taken place over the years. And actually, this is actually the most complicated category, because each one of these little projects or properties has a little story behind it, and sometimes it's difficult interpreting the extent of the assessment and so forth. And so we have to review that a little bit further, but you can see there that there's maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or so assessments there. There may be more by the time we get done with it, but I would put those toward the latter part of our assessment process. So I think, having said all that, Ed could perhaps chime in as to what he might think in terms of his ability to prepare a resolution or 2 for upcoming assessments.
I think Brad had summarized it very well. I think in terms of priority, we would probably want to do Orchard Phase 4 as the first, because some of those are already sold, as Brad has pointed out. And although most of them have been paid, there are some that have not been paid, and we'd like to get those assessments on the land records. And closely thereafter, actually 1A, we would like to get Gateway Phase 2 done. So those both are nearing completion, and we would like to do those first. Rocky Neck Village is still under construction, so we have some time there. And the miscellaneous ones, indeed, are some of those are knotty questions. We probably want to present them all at once, but it's going to take some research and consideration